Sweet.
Okay, awesome. So, Stephen, why don't you and I just first explain how Lockout works to the viewers, just in case anyone is unaware, and then we will start getting set up. So,
Sure.
yeah, so basically, Lockout is a format of competitive programming where instead of the usual where you have, for the Code Forces rounds, usually you have a certain set of problems and everyone's trying to do all of them. Lockout is a more exciting version where if your opponent finishes a problem before you, they get all of the points for it and you cannot get any points for it anymore. And so it's really a battle of wits, a battle of speed where you're trying to finish, you're often trying to finish that last problem, just 2 seconds before your opponent. And this is, a really great way for two competitors to go head to head and duke it out.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so
And
Galen
just
Collin
to,
is missing his cam. So the reason is he hasn't done a face reveal on his stream yet. So who knows?
Yep.
Maybe depending on the result today, maybe he will. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, and so today I
yeah.
have Stephen with me. Stephen is, like I mentioned in the blog post, he is the initiator of the very first Lockout Grudge match. He did a match against Ericto because of their 3 point difference or 3 second difference in Facebook Hacker Cup. Yeah, so Steven knows all of the kind of nitty gritty, the strategies and all of that for this competition, and so I thought he'd be a great commentator here.
Yeah. I definitely know what it's like to
And
compete
of
in one
course,
of these, but I don't know the best strategies yet, clearly. And just for everyone in the chat,
and of course,
um,
for those,
oh, can, sorry, can you guys hear me?
the leg's a bit tricky. I can, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to explain the scoreboard real quick. So
Mm-hmm.
on the left, we have SecondThread in blue. So when he solves a problem, we'll mark the problem as solved next to Neil's face. So I just marked the 200 as blue. So you'll see that that means he got that problem first. And similarly, when Galen solves a problem, Galen Collin, we'll mark it in red. Again, it's first to 1100. So any combination of problems that adds up to at least 1100 will net that player a win.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay, David and Colin, let's start setting up the round. So we're using Lockout Bot for this round, and so what that means is we'll have a bot that just generates problems of certain difficulties and makes sure that neither of the two competitors has worked on those problems before. And so that also means that for us as commentators, we don't know in advance what the problems will be, but we'll just be sharing in the experience of the competitors of just going through the problems and trying to figure them out. And we'll do, if we have time, we'll do some of that live on here with all you guys.
45-minute match, right?
Yeah, 45 minutes. And you had the problem difficulties above. So for today, the problem difficulties I picked out were, I will put them in the chat. So the 100 will be a 1200 difficulty. And then,
Well, I guess we're starting. We're ready to go.
all right, we're starting. And then basically the 100 will be a bit easier because often that problem gets ignored. So I wanted to make it a bit easier. And then the 500 and 600 will be a bit harder. David and Colin, remember
right.
to deafen the Discord.
Yep. Good luck. Have fun.
So they're getting started.
And we're off. Problems are posted. Here, I can paste the links in the chat
In
for
the
now.
chat. Okay, great.
And let's see what people are working on.
So it looks like SecondThread went straight for the 500 pointer, and actually Galen Collin is going for that problem as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
So we might immediately have a sniping situation here where one person finishes it just before the next.
They're both going for the 600?
The 500.
500.
Oh, sorry.
I see.
Wait. This is the 600.
That's unheard of. That's very exciting. Let's open up the 600 then and read through it.
Sure, we can
Oh,
pull it up on
contest.
stream. Okay, so here's the problem. So we've got a tree of n nodes. Every node is painted black or white, and there are never two nodes of the same color connected by an edge.
Right.
Each edge has a non-negative integer on it, and then Vasya came up and wrote a number SV near each node V, which is the sum of values of all of the edges incident to the node, and then removed all the edges from the board. So you're given the colors and you're given the numbers, and you want to restore a tree.
Okay, so a graph theory problem. I guess both of these people probably saw the tree in the problem name and felt like it was going to be a good problem to start with.
Colin did just do a stream on trees, so he does have a lot of practice for this.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much of a tree problem this is, though. This also has one of SecondThread's pet peeves. The output section says, it is guaranteed that for any input data, there exists at least one graph that meets these data.
Okay.
So the reason it's his pet peeve is because it's not clear from this phrasing if this means that either A, we will never give you an invalid test case, or B, any test case we can make is valid. You can prove that it's valid.
Yeah, no, it's not super clear, but I
bet
think
you
it's
he will
just
comment
a validator.
he will comment on this after the round.
Yeah. Yeah, the scoreboard currently is 0-0. I don't think anyone submitted yet. But they should both be reading black and white tree. Do you want to switch? Yeah, let's switch to the screens again.
So
they're
second
both
thread is still on this problem.
thinking.
It looks like Colin has jumped to the 200 pointer instead.
Oh, interesting. And Colin is he's on a different problem as well.
Oh,
I think
Colin
he's
is the
on
one. He's on the
problem B.
Yes, he's on the 200. Second thread is still on the 600. So let me read through the 200. Okay, and do we have, it looks like we have second thread starting on the 600. So if he manages to finish that quickly, that will be a huge lead.
This is exciting. So here we get to see the famed Java source code of second thread. So let me know if you guys have trouble reading this, because I certainly am not super familiar with all these structures.
So a couple other notes here are worth mentioning. Not only is this the battle of the 2622s on Codeversus, this is also a battle of Java versus C++, which is exciting. If we have any Java fans in the chat, can you type a 1 in the chat? And then C++ fans in the chat, type a 2.
And type a 3 if you use anything other than those two.
Anything other than those two. Like
we know you're out there.
Python or something else.
Yeah, 3 for Python. Let's go.
Okay. I think we're seeing mostly 2s, but a couple 1s.
Yeah, I actually started out my competitive programming career using Java. It's just the only language I knew, and I felt like it was a big handicap because, like, you know, it was really hard to decide when to make things public and private and static, and it's just like not worth thinking about because, like, when does it ever matter, right?
Like even main, you know.
Yeah, even main has to be like public, static, void. Yeah, but I think there are some nice things about Java for sure. It's just probably not not something I would ever switch back to, just because how many characters you have to type for every solution.
I think for a lot of people, the number of or the amount of typing is less of the issue and more of just the runtime where, um, especially on code forces where there are a lot of problems which really put strict time limits where you have to have good constant factor, which is unfortunate. It starts to kind of, kill off languages other than C++ because it's really difficult to get past the time limit on certain problems if you're not using C++.
Yeah, and speaking of C++, we have Galen Colin on the right here, banging out a lot of C++ code in a very short amount of time. And let's see if he has solved it. This is problem, let's see, problem B, I believe. So the 200 pointer, he's gonna make a submission pretty soon, it looks like. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's see if we can read through the problem quickly. Okay, so essentially you're given a string consisting of zeros, ones, and twos, and the length n is going to be a multiple of 3. You need to replace the minimum number of characters in the string to obtain a string that's balanced. They call it balanced if the number of zeros is equal to the number of ones is equal to the number of twos. And then out of the potential balanced strings, you need to make the lexicographically smallest one.
Interesting. All right, so here's the submission from Galen. And he got wrong
answer on test 2.
On test 2.
So it seems like a little bit of a tricky problem. The main thing you have is that given n, you know that you want n over 3 of each of the characters. And then what you basically need to do is figure out maybe, for example, you have extra 2s that need to become zeros and ones, right? Essentially, you'll have either one character that has too many and 2 characters that have too little, or one character that has too little and 2 that have too many. And so you kind of know,
submission.
yeah, you kind of know the direction that you need to move characters. You just need to figure out the way to make it the smallest.
So SecondThread actually submitted on Black and White Tree the 600. And he got a runtime error.
Runtime error. And then meanwhile, Colin gets accepted on the 200.
Okay, let me mark that down. He's red.
I think we're seeing purple.
Yeah, I am having trouble editing this.
To cancel, you need to pick that color.
I see. Oh, I think we're racing there. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So that's solved by Galen Collins, so he takes the lead.
So now we're at
thread.
0 to 200.
Yeah. Let's see if SecondThread is having any luck debugging his runtime error. Runtime errors are usually not too hard to debug. It means you're like making an assumption that's just so wrong that the program is like crashing. And there's only a few ways that can happen usually. Like maybe your arrays are too small, or you're like accessing some negative index. Let's see which one it is for him here. Oh, he's calling l.get. So this is an array list method to index into the array. And yeah, I think he's fiddling with the indices. There's probably an off by 1 or something. Very interesting.
Can we figure out which problem Colin is looking at now?
Colin is reading, let's see.
I think this is the 400 pointer. So it seems like what he's thinking is go for 200 and 400, then you have 600 points, which is a really good number to get to because at that point you can get either the 500 or 600 to finish off the 1100 point total.
That's right. So I guess we can go ahead and open up the 400 pointer just to kind of know what it's about, and we'll watch SecondThread as well
Second
on
thread
this
got a
side.
wrong answer on test 2 on the 600.
Mm,
So yeah, it's tough starting with the 600 because if it's a tricky problem like this, and you get a couple wrong submits, you're in a tough situation where you need to think about, okay, do I want to keep going on this, or should I kind of cut my losses here and do some other problem?
yeah, I think at this point he doesn't actually have to keep going unless he thinks that Galen Collin is also going to work on the 600. I think you're never forced to continue working on the problem. Um, it's actually sometimes good to kind of bait your opponent into starting it, and then maybe if you're like 5 minutes away, then you get back into it. Especially now, I
Oh,
think Galen
he
Collin's
just got
very
accepted second
unlikely.
thread.
Oh, all right.
Okay, that is going to be a big lead in that case.
Yeah. SecondThread jumping ahead with the 600. So now he just needs the 500 to win. Or also the 400 plus another problem would also work.
That's right. Yeah, so one thing he could do now actually is go for the 100, which puts him in a position
Yeah.
to have either of two problems to finish. Um,
Yep.
and I think for Colin's case, he really needs to get this 400 relatively quickly to be in a good position.
Yeah. Going for the 100 here would not play out very well if Galen Collin is about to solve the 400, because that would make the
Right, then
100
he should
worthless.
have done the 500 anyway. So it's it's a tough call. I think if I were him, I would read the 100 and probably read the 400 as well and see if that combination makes sense. Like
Yeah.
makes sense for me personally. Um, if I read them both and I know how to do both of them already, and it's just a matter of coding, then I might go for that. Starting with the 100 probably.
I think
But
starting with the 100 makes the most sense here, knowing what he knows. Obviously, if he knew that Galen was about to solve the 400, that would be a mistake, but he doesn't know if Galen's working on 400 or 500 right now.
yeah, if he knew Galen Collin was doing the 400 right now, then probably the best thing to do would just be to go for the 500.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it
like I
seems like
mentioned,
Galen's about to make a submission here.
oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah, like I
so let's see
mentioned,
how that goes.
the 500 and 600 are both a pretty big difficulty jump from the 400 and below. And part of the reason for that is you can win with just 500 plus 600. So we wanted to make that not too easy of a route.
So that's accepted from Galen Collin on the 400.
Oh, nice. So we have a perfect tie right now.
Yeah,
Um,
this is intense. And SecondThread, with his notification,
so he
probably noticed.
he set up an audible notification anytime Colin gets an accepted. So using his site, I think it's cfnotifications.com.
Yeah,
So hopefully
plug
he
for CF
will
notifications.
hopefully he'll notice this soon. And then it actually comes down to a one problem contest in this case, where they should both be focusing on the 500 if they're once they're aware of the situation. Okay, we can take a look at the 500. So it is a geometry problem, a
All
perfect finisher
right.
problem.
This is
We'll see
what
lots
it
of wrong
comes down
answers here.
to,
It'll be great.
huh?
Um, so you're given two rectangles. The centers, so they're both centered at the origin. And the first rectangle is kind of a normal axis parallel rectangle. The second one, okay, so the second one is the exact same dimensions, but it's just rotated by some degree, by some angle. And then you wanna find the area of the intersection or the area of the overlap between the two rectangles, and this picture shows you the gray area. And okay, it looks like the samples are pretty decent. So we have one with 30 degrees. I'm not sure if SecondThread has noticed though. It looks like he is looking at the 100 right now. Yeah, so in this case, there's no reason for either of them to work on anything but the 500, because even if they get the 100 and the 300, then they will only have 1,000 points, which is not the 1,100 you need for a majority. And I think SecondThread is actually going for the 100, so I'm not
Could
sure
this be
what.
some kind of like tiebreak thing he's trying to do? I don't know if this makes any sense. Yeah.
Maybe he miscalculated here with the point values. The only way this could make sense is if you think the 500 is just unsolvable in the amount of time. And
Oh yeah.
in that case, it'll come down to tiebreaker, which is who has more points when time runs out. But given
Right.
that there are about 30 minutes left, I don't think that that makes sense. I think he actually did not look at the 500. He's just well, he at least submitted the 100, so maybe this won't put him too far back.
Yeah, the 100 doesn't. Maybe he's just trying to throw Galen Collin off because now
Okay, he got it. He
Colin's
got
going to see
accepted.
that notification. Colin's going to see that notification and start doubting his strategy. It's like, maybe I should have gone for the 100. Now I can't get it anymore. It's a good way to mess with your opponent for sure.
This is actually blue. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so
Okay, now he is on the 500.
Taking the lead, but it's unclear if this will end up mattering. But hopefully this gives him the confidence he needs to approach this tough geometry problem. It definitely can have an effect on your mental state to just solve a bunch of easy problems. So there might be some merit to the strategy after all.
Yeah, it looks like Colin had a question about whether pre-written code is allowed, and the answer is yes, it is allowed. Just same rules as a normal Code Forces round.
So there's just one problem that matters now.
So Stephen, how would
Rectangle
you approach this problem?
If I saw this on a contest, I think the first thing I would do is read the other problems. Just because, as you said, geometry is just no one really thrives in that area. Well, there are some people.
I don't think that's true. I think there are some.
Yeah, people. It's not something that I tend to associate with. But here they want you to find the area of the shaded region. So one thing I would think about is using the shoelace theorem to just find all the vertices, all the intersection points, and then you just do it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking now as well. So it shouldn't be too hard to find all 8 of the line segments, and then you could just compute some intersections, and then put that together. Yeah. I think even then there are some special cases though, like a 90-degree rotation might be weird. If it's a square, like if it's a square and it's a 90-degree rotation, then it just becomes the same square again. And so you might mess that up. You'd have to be careful.
So I think to handle those cases, you could try to just not use the shoelace theorem and just kind of come up with a formula for the answer in terms of like cosine and sine and whatever else you might need here. Because then I think it will not have those problems with the 90-degree case or multiple 90 degrees. Oh wow. Yeah. 603A. What problem is Galen on? Is he on the 300?
Yeah, it looks like he is on the 300.
Yeah, I think he was. I think SecondThread's gambit worked, and now Galen Collin is.
It spooked him. He's worried about the tiebreaker now. Now maybe he's like, kind of overthinking himself. He's thinking, oh, maybe SecondThread decided the 500 is just impossible, and so maybe I need to do the 300 to get the tiebreaker.
Yeah, this is some 4D chess, I have to say. If SecondThread ends up being like, yeah, I knew I could do the 500. I didn't want him to think it was possible though, because this is like a big demoralizer. for your opponent if they think like, oh, this problem is just impossible to solve.
Yeah, and it looks like he is actually coding the 300. So,
Okay.
but in the meantime, SecondThread is coding the 500. So we'll see what happens here.
All right. Hey, chat. It's been a while. Who do you think will win? Again, press 1 for SecondThread and 2 for Galen Collin. The match has gotten effectively tied if the 500 is solved, so it's really anyone's game here. All right. And again, press 3 if you think they'll both lose to an unknown third party.
Is that you, Stephen?
Well, I haven't started coding yet, but if I come up with a solution for the 500, maybe I'll go snipe them both. That's the purple color. And then maybe that's why SecondThread is making sure he has enough points, just in case someone comes in to beat him.
Another fun fact
Right.
you can tell on the screen right now, this is not only Java versus C++, this is also dark mode versus light mode. The two, SecondThread and Galen Collin were actually kind of memeing on each other earlier when we were doing a test round about the dark mode versus light mode. Okay, so it looks like SecondThread is trying to cover his bases with all the special cases. He checked for 0, he checked for 180, he checked for 90, and so anything else should be a more normal case where I think you should have the 8 vertex intersection. Is that right? Oh no, there are cases where it's like if it's almost 90 but not quite, you can have a parallelogram, right? So like if you imagine a really long and thin rectangle and then you rotate it almost 90 degrees.
Well, yeah, just any range of angles that have only 4 intersections will give you a parallelogram.
Yeah, so definitely a couple different cases here. You have to make sure you handle them all. And Colin is still on the 300. So it looks like he has potentially most of the DP worked out. He's just trying to check the
I guess.
cases. But yeah, I'm very curious to ask them afterward how they were thinking about this situation.
Galen is solving the 300-point problem. I had already closed that tab of my browser because I didn't think anyone would be looking at it, but reopening it now, it's called Alternative Thinking, and it's about Kevin doing Usico, or Usico. So that's somewhat close to home for me and Neil.
Oh, it is? It's Kevin's son.
Yeah.
He was one of the problem setters for this round. Or no, he wasn't. No, it was Alex Wei, Michael Curl, and Yang Liu. And they just wrote the problems about Kevin's son.
Kevin's son is he's the protagonist of this round, so not the problem setter. So yeah, this is about strings, binary strings, and it should be Kevin did not do very well in the contest, but he thinks the sum of his points is not the right indicator of his score. It should be the length of the longest alternating subsequence on the string. So that seems like something you can like kind of greedily do. And he's allowed to flip a single substring. So that's the gimmick. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a DP problem.
Oh, okay, it's a DP problem. It's like, yeah, that's why I saw 3 by 2 in Colin's code. It's basically the 3 is like which phase are we in? Are we in the pre-flip phase? Are we in the flip, or are we in the post-flip? And then the 2 is just, was the last thing a 0 or was it a 1?
Yep. That sounds right to me. Yeah, Kevin, what a sneaky puffball.
Yeah, I'm so interested here. It looks like earlier I was like, what is SecondThread doing? Why is he doing the 100 pointer? But it looks like it actually paid off. It got Colin to go and do the 300 pointer while SecondThread jumped to the 500 pointer instead. And so if he gets that 500 pointer, then it's all over.
Yeah, so let's see what SecondThread's written here, because it seems like you know, a decent amount of boilerplate, or no, don't. It's a thing, but he's still making some edits. He's using the cross product
products.
to find areas of. Are these like triangles?
Yeah, cross product normally gives you triangle areas, so I'm wondering what he's doing. It looks like he is like breaking it up into sections and trying to do that. Top area, middle area, left area. And I wonder if that will handle the case we were talking about where, or the different cases we were talking about where you can have an 8 vertex intersection or a 4 vertex intersection.
Yeah. I'm surprised that SecondThread went for the 100 without going for the 300. Maybe he was thinking Galen would not notice at all, and he would just sneak it in because it's free anyway.
Yeah, it's possible actually he thought that this 500 was just nasty, and so he just wanted that 100 point lead in case of a tiebreak situation.
But then shouldn't he go for 300?
Well, if he's thinking that his opponent, if Colin will just get stuck on the 500 forever. If it were me, though, I would go for the 500 for at least a while, and then if I am making some progress, but then I just conclude it's totally nasty, then I would think about doing the 100 or the 300. Someone did ask how much time is left. I think it should be about 15 minutes now. Am I calculating that right? Yeah, I think that's about
around
right.
15 or 16 minutes.
Have we had any submissions lately?
Doesn't look like it.
No, I think, yeah, the last submission is still SecondThread's 100. Please don't let it be a draw. So at this point, there's no way it can be a draw because right now it's SecondThread with 700 points versus Galen Colin with 600 points. There's no way they can tie the same point total. And actually, even if they did tie the same point total, the winner would be the one who got there first. So Lockout is just designed so that there aren't draws.
Okay. Someone is running their code. Colin is testing. Oh.
Colin's submitting the 300.
He got the 300. So Galen
Okay.
Colin is now leading. So SecondThread needs to solve the 500 to win.
Yeah, so what that means is whoever gets the 500 will win, but if neither of them gets it, then right now by default Colin will win with the point lead, 900 to 700. And actually now we have about 15 minutes left, so I was a little bit too low earlier.
Yeah, coming down to the 500. Usually lockout matches end up being a race for either the 500 or the 600. Yeah, it's very rare for a contestant to get both of them, and you need always at least one of them to win.
Yeah, it's also very rare for every problem to get solved, which is what we might see here.
Yeah, they're definitely setting a historic precedent by solving all the problems. But yeah, these two, they love programming. You should check out their streams, and you'll get to see them solving problems that, also don't usually count to any contest just for fun. So I think it's just kind of in their nature to solve all the problems that they have available.
This is funny. We see Colin's screen. He's got a couple of rectangles drawn in paint. So
Oh,
he's trying to work out maybe some sort of formula here.
yeah.
Yeah, and the chat is definitely. I see a bunch of. I see SecondThread come back and win. I see Colin, Donut Ores. Someone asked, Kahawala asks, Nick and I solved all the questions, right? I think we did everything but the 100 back in the Lockout Championship. So I think we did 200 through 600. So I don't actually think I've seen one where every problem has been solved before. Sharath101 says, SecondThread didn't go for 300 because he wanted to force Colin to do 300, thinking the 500 was nasty. If SecondThread solves the 500, it's a gigabrain move. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I think it really comes all down to this 500. But I'm really excited to ask them about how they were thinking about the strategy here afterward. Who is younger, Scott or Neil? Scott is about 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, I want to try to read through SecondThread's code just to understand what he's doing a bit more. Once he switches back, I'll take a screenshot so I can look at it offline. Yeah, so Neil, you said you noticed earlier he was handling the special cases of 90 degrees and 180.
Yeah, it's at the top if 80 degree equals 0 or 180, and then if equals 90.
Ah, I see. So if it's 90 degrees, it's just a square. And then, oh, he even normalizes it. If it's greater than 90, then flip it. Okay. So he's dealing with an angle between 0 and 90. So at this point, the shoelace should just work, right?
So right now the thing I'm concerned with in his code is that I don't know if he's handling the 8 vertex case and the 4 vertex case. It doesn't look like he's making a list of points of just fixed month. So it doesn't look like he's handling the fact that there can be different numbers of vertices. But
Right.
It looks like he's just, yeah, I think he's just making one rectangle, and then he's rotating to make the other rectangle, and then he's just computing intersections, and he's assuming that there are actually 6 intersections, I think, in his code. I'm not sure why we're seeing 6.
I think he might be just computing half of the rectangle, the top half, and then he's going to multiply
the top
by 2
half, I see.
afterwards. So it remains to be
he submitted.
seen exactly. Oh, this is exciting.
Wrong answer on test 7. Okay, so this is kind of what we were thinking.
Okay, so maybe he's missing just one of the cases with the parallelogram.
Yeah, it might be that he actually got the 8 vertex case right, but he's missing the 4 vertex case. I mean, if anything, he did pass 6 test cases, so that is a pretty good amount.
All right, so SecondThread, he has still not solved the problem, but he is definitely closer than he was before. 12 minutes to go.
Half of chat is saying no, half of chat is saying, oh, that was so close.
Yeah. Galen Colin has not started coding yet, but this is a pretty short program, so he could still come back and win this.
Yeah, if he just works out the math really cleanly and then just types up, maybe 10 lines of code, maybe he could get it. But we are running low on time here.
Yeah, so this is just down to whether SecondThread can fix this mathematical error he has.
We have
surely
just under 10 minutes left, I believe.
So like what would happen if we passed in like 89 as the degree and it's a very long and skinny rectangle? What would his code do here?
Can we figure that out?
So P01 I think would just be like outside of the bounds of the original rectangle. His top intersected with, or his right intersected with right will just be like,
Yeah, I think some of these. Yeah, I think he would make points that are outside of the rectangle, wouldn't he? And
yeah,
so
so he
he.
needs to filter those out. I think that's all he has to do.
So one thing that's hard about that is that, like you mentioned, if he actually got runtime error, that might be easier to figure out here. But because it is a real point, he will calculate some wrong area and just get wrong answer. It looks
Oh,
like he is
he's
redoing his code
redoing
though,
it.
so he might have figured out what you were mentioning.
Yeah, I think he probably noticed that case. So he just has to refactor some of his code to handle that case. And he has 10 minutes, around 10 minutes left to do this. Let's see, when exactly does the contest end? It ends at 9:28 Pacific time. So set exactly 7 minutes left. Maybe Neil, do you want to put on a countdown timer? Would that make it?
I
I don't
don't
know
know if
how
we
easy
can
it is
get
to
it
do.
exact enough. I think we might be off by a minute if we do that. Do you know if we can get the exact timing from the lockout bot?
Well, I have the timestamp when it first started the round. Well, it doesn't say the exact seconds, I
Match
guess. But
update. Chat, if anyone knows the lockout bot command to get the exact time left, let me know in the chat.
usually when it posts updates, it gives you the seconds remaining. So we can just start our timer then.
And you have the exact second when the message came in?
No, but you can just, when the message comes, you just start your timer.
Oh, okay.
With the
But we won't be
correct.
getting any more messages now, right? Because unless someone finishes the problem.
Oh, because your update.
Yeah, unfortunately, match update doesn't give me a timestamp.
Yeah, we're a bit late there. So
Someone said dot round update. Oh, we have a couple people saying dot round problems.
ah, it's all right. I think we can just approximate the time left.
Oh, unfortunately,
Um,
dot round problems just tells me that I am not in a round. Like Neil is not in a round. So maybe I can put in round problems and then, for example, second thread. Ah, okay,
there we go.
that does work. So
5 minutes 41 seconds. If you want to start the timer. While Neil gets that set up, let's check out Galen Collin. He is starting to code with 5 minutes left on the clock. So this will really be a test of like how quickly can he turn his thoughts into code. Again, there's not too much code needed for this problem, so he could finish if he has the correct solution in his head and actually win with a dominating lead of 7. Is it 1400 if he gets this problem? 1500 if he gets. Wait. Whatever. he'll have a lot of points. Is what I'm trying to say. 1400 points if he solves this problem, and yeah, I think there are solutions out there with just like less than 30 lines of code. So it's perfectly feasible that he comes back and gets this.
yeah, in terms of the timer, I think we don't have any extra screen space, but I will just let you guys know at each minute how much time we have left. Right now we have just under 4.5 minutes left. It's looking like Colin is not very likely to solve the problem given that he hasn't started coding yet. but he is in the lead right now. So it really, I think, comes down here to whether SecondThread can finish this code.
Yeah. SecondThread kind of pivoting at the last moment and introducing a convex hull. But fortunately, he has this as it looks like he has this pre-written, so it didn't cost him very much time to get the convex hull.
I wonder what. Oh, is he? Maybe he's calculating the union. But
that's
the
a
union is
concave.
not convex. So I'm not sure what convex hull does here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think it's another thing we'll have to ask him about. Okay, so he's looking to make another resubmission, I think.
All right, chat. We have just over 3 minutes left. We got runtime error on test 1. That's funny. So maybe he didn't even run the sample. I mean, in
Yeah,
Lockout,
he still has
it
some
is a
time.
pretty reasonable thing to not even run the sample and just submit, because maybe that extra 15 seconds you save gets you the problem before your opponent. It might be bad in the case where you reveal which problem you're working on, but here that doesn't really matter. It's funny, it's looking a lot like this 500 is a lot tougher than even the 600. I think it's just one of those problems where if you think about it enough and you find the clean way to do it, then it's not too bad. But if you, it actually might be like a really hard problem in Lockout specifically, because you're really in a rush, and so you're not really thinking through what are all the special cases, like how do I make sure that I don't miss any cases. You just kind of start coding, and then you realize, oh, I missed this, and then you try to patch that, and then next thing you know, your code is just a bunch of spaghetti.
Yeah. Galen Collin is starting to compile, but I think he's just printing out debug statements. He doesn't have a full solution yet. There's only 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock, right?
That's right. 1 minute, 40 seconds.
So if nothing happens, then Galen's gonna clinch the victory with just having the 300 at the end. Can we extend? I don't think we can extend the timer. That would be that'd be pretty last minute.
Well, we have 500 viewers now. This is definitely the peak moment in this match. We'll see if we can finish it off.
SecondThread thinking hard. He has his upper hole. He has his lower hole. And that's all you need to get the convex hull. So can he put it all together is the question.
50 seconds left. Less than a minute. Yeah, I was really questioning their strategy to not do the 500, but it looks like actually now that's making sense.
Yeah, if SecondThread had gone for the 300 instead, that would have been a really good way to capitalize on his observation that 500 was way too hard.
Okay, 15
seconds left. I don't think SecondThread is gonna get it. He's still typing.
10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2, and it's over.
Lockout bot just returned negative 5 seconds. I think that is it.
All right. That is it. Good game, everyone. Good game,
and Lockout
SecondThread.
bot
Good
finalized
game,
the match. We have Galen Collin at 900 points versus SecondThread at 700 points. So congrats to Galen Collin. I wonder if he will do a face reveal.
That was lame.
Oh,
I just got it.
He just got AC.
Wait, really?
Oh, but
you're kidding
no.
Oh my god.
I think you're 20 seconds too late.
You're kidding me. Oh my god.
Wow. That was nowhere
Mm.
close.
And I
20
spent the
seconds.
oh my god. Dude, I solved A too. I solved A, and then after I solved A, I'm like, I'm such an idiot because A couldn't have done anything for me. Like, there's no situation in which solving A would have been helpful. Ugh.
Man.
Wait, oh,
Man.
were you? Did
Did
you
you
actually
guys
get
were
to
you guys
600
roasting
points
me for solving
before
A?
Colin?
Yeah, I got 600
Wait,
first.
what?
So
Oh, okay.
were you roasting me for solving A? Because it was
Yeah,
like
we
just
were.
totally it was a super
Steven
stupid
and I were
decision.
just like, wait, what is SecondThread doing? Why is he going for the 100? Like we had just talked about how it just comes down to the 500. Whoever gets that wins. And we saw
Yeah.
you doing the
Well,
100,
it
and
sort of
we were,
forced me to solve the 300 as well.
yeah, we were very confused. We were like, okay, we definitely need to ask them about this afterward, see what they were thinking. That was crazy. 20 seconds too late. Oh my god.
Ball break, dude.
Yeah.
So ball break. All right. Anyway,
That
good
was
game,
insane.
Colin. That was very fun.
Yeah, good game.
I don't know if it could have gotten
How do
any
you
closer.
do that one?
Well, you can either casework all 1,000 cases out, or you can
Nice.
casework the 90, 180, 0 cases, which will be messy. But other than that, you can just
Yeah.
do a bunch of intersection, like point line or line intersection, and then take convex hull,
Mhm.
and then just
So Steve and I were
like get all of the
thinking,
intersection points with that.
Yes.
we were
Then
thinking
you
that
make the shape and then like find the area of it. Okay, that makes sense.
we were
I was
thinking
just
that
sort of
the
like doing that
reason
really
you were
badly then.
getting wrong answers SecondThread was because there's actually two cases for the intersection. There's one case where it's an 8 vertex polygon, which is the picture you're given, but there's actually a case where it's a 4 vertex polygon. If it's like, imagine like a thin rectangle and then you rotate it almost 90 degrees.
Yeah, I came up with that on paper shortly after.
Mhm.
If it's like this,
Yeah, but we were
I don't know
wondering
if you
why
can see
you
my
need
screen, but like,
why you wanted the convex hull, because I mean, isn't it just a convex
Oh,
polygon
I think
already?
that
I guess
orders
it's
them
them
in clockwise
sorted.
order. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't do it in order, so I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just like sorted by the theta, right?
Yeah, you could just sort it by angle from the
Yeah,
origin.
like all for sure. Yeah. I just I don't know.
No, but
I
it's
didn't.
totally reasonable. If you
Because I
have
was
like convex hull code, you can just paste
short
it.
on time, panic.
Yeah, just go for it. But oh man, oh my god, that 20-second after AC, that is probably the craziest. That is definitely the craziest lockout match we've ever seen.
Man, that is crazy. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you definitely set some records today, both of you, with the it's like how the match ended up playing out. I've never seen the 20-second decider, and the 100 and 300. That was like very innovative on both sides, I think. I have a question for you,
Yeah.
SecondThread. Do you think if you
Mhm.
didn't go for the 100, you would have gotten the 600, gotten the 500 in time?
I think almost certainly. And in addition, when the match first started, the first thing I did was set a timer for 45 minutes so that I knew, like, in order to make decisions. And that took me like a couple seconds. So according to my timer, I actually had like 15 seconds left, which means I think if I didn't set the timer, then I probably would have been fine.
Oh,
But I may have
Jesus.
Oh no.
stupid decisions
Oh, so
if I didn't
you
set.
were waiting
But
to
yeah,
submit
I'm a fool.
Oh man.
Cutting it close, huh?
What'd you say?
Such a stupid win
So
condition.
did you have the AC code before the time ran out? Or did you actually
No,
fix it?
I submitted it. No, so I didn't I wouldn't have won. It wasn't that I was stupid. Yeah, I fixed it in the last like 20 seconds, but I fixed it like in the window of time that I wasted in the beginning of contest setting a timer. Yeah,
Oh, I got what you're saying. Okay.
So like, yeah,
All right, and
but it was
Jalen
really
Colin. Yeah, no, that was really exciting to watch at the end, the debugging.
Colin, Colin, how did you think about doing the 300 pointer?
Well, I saw that like this problem was geometry and that I had absolutely no progress on it, and so I figured that I might as well take the chance that he might not be able to solve the 500 in time. And so I went for the 300 instead because it was simpler.
So did you think the 500 was just pretty nasty?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect it to be so close. I didn't know like how it would go, but I figured I had a much better chance of getting the 300 than this one.
Oh, would you say like geometry is a weak point for you?
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Like my
Okay.
template is like 20 lines and it has nothing in it. If I had line intersection, maybe I would have done better, but I don't even know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Colin, we've gotten so many chat messages saying face reveal. Literally people just spamming face reveal
I
12
have the
times in a row.
criteria set out. Like people on my channel should know when I get 10,000 subscribers, I'm doing it. But no earlier. So whatever
All right.
people are saying, it's not going to happen.
Well, you heard it here first. You guys know what to do. You got a sub.
Yeah.
Go subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we should. Neil, are you subscribed to Galen Collin? We should head over to his YouTube now, and I'll post this.
Wait,
Let me post this
I'm not
YouTube.
actually sure. I've definitely watched some of his videos, but I might be guilty myself of forgetting to click on the sub button.
Here,
I'm not-
I just posted his channel in the Twitch chat. Anyone who's not subscribed to Colin Galen and wants to see his,
I might be guilty myself.
what I can only assume to be a very beautiful face, head over there and click that subscribe button right now.
We'll leave that as an assumption.
All right. Well, I am subscribed now, so we are good.
Yeah, contributing to the counter.
Nice.
And let's plug SecondThread as well.
Well,
Definitely,
thank you
let's
all
get
for
both of
the
these-
initiative.
Both of their channels on here.
But yeah, I'm starting to wonder if Galen Collin actually is just a donut.
Who knows? He might be.
So, Colin, what do you think would be a fair reward? What should I put in my template from now on?
I don't want you to ors me. That's like the opposite of what it should be.
Okay. Should I put sub to Galen Collin? The link to your channel?
I guess that would work
I think. All right. I'll do that
if you want.
for sure. I think I owe you that. Yeah.
Galen, you said your template is 20 lines and has nothing in it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
have-
imagining like a bunch of white space right now.
I could just stop.
It's just white space for him to imagine rectangles.
Of course.
It's like a canvas. Yes, that's kind of deep. Einstein's template was also just 20 lines of blank space.
All right. Well, I think we can close it out today. We can actually raid. I think we'll raid Scott. Scott is streaming ARC at Coder Regular Contest with Eknerwalla, and Eknerwalla just won the last Div 1 round, 10 hours ago, again for the second time in a row. So these guys are super top competitors. And just
Crazy.
a couple plugs. So follow my Twitch if you want to get notified for future streams. I'll be streaming different Codeforces contests. I think there's an educational round tomorrow, so I'll probably stream that one. And I also post these links to YouTube, so I'll definitely post this recording. And I put my YouTube in the chat, so you can find that there. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks a ton to SecondThread and Galen Collin for competing. Thanks to Steven for co-commentating with me. And congrats, Galen Collin, on the victory.
Yeah, thank you for hosting us.